All right, so let's talk about follow-up. In this one, I want to give you my 4-dimensional follow-up strategy that's going to skyrocket the number of deals that you close in the DMs in your coaching or consulting business. Okay, I've personally sold millions and millions and millions of dollars of coaching and consulting online through social media. I've helped my clients sell many, many more millions. And what I've done is distill the follow-up game down into 4 things, 4 key sequences. If you nail one of these, you're going to be ahead of the crowd. If you and your team integrate all 4, you are going to be absolutely flying. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, the first one's pretty simple and the first one's pretty obvious. So stick with me through this one and we'll get into some more stuff beyond this. But even a lot of people neglect this, and I just call this the offer follow-up chain. Okay, now if you're doing sales calls, this isn't going to be relevant. You can probably tweak it, but I'm specifically talking to the people who either want to sell in the DMs or already are. This is the sequence that I would use after you send over your offer document or a VSL. Essentially, you're putting your case forward and saying like, hey, this is what it looks like to work with me, because they've come to you and said they want to work with you, or you've had a conversation and it's landed at that point, right? And so the goal here is that we want to be persistent, but we don't want to come across as needy. And ultimately, we just want to get to a decision. Yes is great. No is great. Maybe's not, because it's a pain in the ass. Okay. And so this is what it looks like, right? First thing I would say is, maybe 24-ish hours after they've had it. And there's some stuff that you can do before the offer goes out, but that's kind of a scope, out of scope for this one. It's a conversation for a different day. But they've seen the offer and they've kind of disappeared. 24 hours or so, I'd just simply ask them, hey, how did you go with the document or the video? Life gets busy, give people the opportunity to then reply. Okay. 24 hours or so later, just do the typical, hey, look, I'm just bumping this one. Chances that they're going to jump in right now are starting to get a little bit shaky, but it still does happen. People get busy. In the next message, which is going to be kind of between 48 and 72-ish hours, we want to change the approach slightly. And our goal here is to put no on the table. Make sure that they know that they can say no. It's great. Just tell me no so that we can move in one direction or another. In my world, no doesn't mean no forever. Mine just means no, not now. People drop back into my ecosystem. They keep watching YouTube videos. They keep reading emails. They keep seeing ads, and then ultimately they move forward in the future. So I'm totally okay if they say no. When you set up your ecosystem correctly, the way that I teach on this channel, you don't need to twist people's arms. You just want them to make a decision either way so that you can both move on with your day. And so that's what we're doing here, right? And this is we're just saying, hey, look, it's totally cool if this thing isn't for you. This isn't some like mind fuckery. This is just like saying, hey, if you don't want this thing, it's fine. Just let me know, right? Let's just have an adult conversation and let me know, right? That will, in a lot of cases, kind of bring them back, and then you can continue the conversation from there. Then you can, open up a little bit more with like, hey, do you still want to do this thing, right? This message here, I should put this in italics because this is going to depend on the vibe of your brand. And when I work with clients, we can dial this in more specific to their situation. For some people, this isn't going to be a fit. For some people, I'd cut this out. But for some people, it'll work. Okay. So I'll let you use some discretion there. And then the last one's what I call my nuclear DM. This one, I've run ads to this as a lead magnet, and people get really pissed off about it sometimes. It's quite funny. You're not saying I'm going to close the file on you, or you're not saying this person is a bad person because they don't buy. It's literally just saying, hey, like, we had a conversation about an offer. I haven't heard back from you. Should I just close the file on this situation so that we can get on with things? That's all that it's saying. And is it a bit blunt? Maybe, but like, business is business, and let's just get on with things. Right. And then quite often people will come back and they'll either go, yep, like timing's not right. Sweet. No worries. And then they drop back into your world, or they'll say, no, I'm still interested. Shit just got busy, or I was working out finances, or whatever. Right. So that's a really good one to have in your kit bag. Right. But as I said, the third one is critical because this is where we wanting them to make sure that no is totally okay. People are used to sales closers who refuse to take no. And so they think that the only suitable answer is yes, and then therefore their alternative is just to disappear. And so if we make them feel comfortable saying no, some of them will come back and that's fine, and then we can kind of close it out. Or they'll say, no, I had a quick question, just because they're not kind of paralyzed and thinking, well, yes is the only answer, right? So that's just straight up after the offer, okay? The next one is what I call the I'm not going away follow-up, right? Most people miss this one, but it's a great way to land really dream clients. I use this when I'm being a bit more proactive. If there's someone in my audience who I really want to work with, like they've got a big brand or they've got a great track record, and I know with my strategies that they could fucking crush it. And so we might have a conversation, but then, busy people are busy. And so I'll use this one over the long term to just be like, hey, like I'm still around, and when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's dance and let's make this thing happen. And so literally I'll just say, hey, I just wanted to follow up again. I'm going to make a note to check back in the future, see if you're still interested in doing some work around this thing. Feel free to reach out in the meantime if you need anything. I use this when there's someone that I really want to work with, and it just, this could take years, but how long does that message take to send? It's just saying like, hey, I'm still here. I'd still love to help you. I've literally used this on people over multiple years, but then they become a client and we do some amazing work together, right? Our job isn't to force people to buy. Our job is to be everywhere so that when they want to buy, we are the best solution. And you can think about this follow-up strategy as just another omnipresent strategy. It's the same as a YouTube video. It's the same as a remarketing ad. It's the same as an email. It's just another touch point. And this is why we want to be consistent over a long period of time so that when they're ready to go, we are the obvious choice. Okay. So that's the second one. Keep that in your kit bag when there's people that you really want to work with, but the timing isn't right. The third one's what I call the value nudge. This is actually really cool and is very rarely utilized. This is where we take a piece of content and use it in our follow-up chain. Okay. So here's how it works. Hey there, I know it's been a while since we spoke. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. I also wanted to share this quick YouTube video, Facebook post, article that I wrote. I think you'll find it really helpful. Here's the link. Let me know if you need anything. Here to help, right? If you can make this relevant to things that you would, because here's what happens. I see this all the time. People will come to you and be like, hey, I'm stuck in this spot. And then they don't move ahead. And then they might drop back into your world for 6 months, and then you'll reconnect again, and they're still in that same spot. Not everyone is on this fucking blast off growth trajectory. That's just not how things work, right? And so there's a very real chance if 2 months ago you spoke about them having a traffic problem, they probably still have a traffic problem because people love to sit with their problems, which is a topic for another day. But if you can give them a piece of content that helps them with the thing that they were having troubles with, it's gonna serve you really well. Okay. It's also a good pattern interrupt rather than just like, hey, checking in. It's like, have some value. I think this is gonna help you, right? And so it can also be a great way to reopen the conversation because in a few different ways. One, if they like the video, they might be like, hey, that was awesome. I had a question. Or it drops them back into your world from an algorithm perspective. So they see a YouTube video, therefore they're likely to see more YouTube videos. Or they see a YouTube video and then they see, oh, he's got a new opt-in below, or a new playbook or whatever below the video. Boom, they opt back in. Now they're getting emails again, or they're getting autoresponder, or they click on a page and now they're getting, they're back in a remarketing order. So it like reactivates people within the ecosystem when you can nudge them over a piece of content. So it serves double benefits or kind of triple benefits. One, provides some value. Two, reignites conversation. Three, drops them back into your ecosystem. So that's a really powerful little one. And then the fourth one, this is going to make some people feel uncomfortable, but this is awesome. I love this one. I just call this my limited time offer follow-up. This is a direct conversion play. And so I like using this with people who've been consuming my content for a while, but they haven't bought anything. They're a follower, and our goal is to create customers, and customers can become clients. All right. And so here's an example of what this can look like. Hey, hope you've been well. I know it's been a while since we've spoken, but I wanted to let you know that I'm doing this thing on this date. If you'd like to check it out, here's the link. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. I'm not kidding. That's how you do it. Another example. Hey, I'm doing thing on thing date that's helping people with ABCD. Right. Be specific. Would it be appropriate for me to send you the details? This gets a crazy high response rate, right? And you start tipping people over into customers. Great for sub 1K offers, especially sub $500 offers. Then they spend some money. They're more committed. You can hang out with them on a workshop or have multiple calls, depending on what the offer ultimately is. The conversation's reignited, and they're back in your world, and then they can ascend up. Okay, this one's really powerful. It may make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but quite often the results that you want are on the other side of doing things that make you feel uncomfortable, right? And so if you're doing a workshop, if you're doing a little sprint, if you're doing a 1 month intensive, if you're launching a new course and you're looking for beta testers, whatever, use this, right? Use this on the people who've been floating around and haven't purchased anything. The worst thing is they say no, right? You've got nothing to lose and you've got everything to gain. Okay. Just a little bit of a word on integration, right? Most people might use one of these. If you work to ultimately integrate all of them, you're going to be absolutely flying. Okay. Let me know how you go with those. In particular, the first one you should be doing. If you're not, start doing it. The second one's going to take some time to yield some fruit, but 3, and then in particular 4, go use those starting like today. I think you're going to really enjoy the short-term and long-term benefits. All right. If you have a coaching, consulting business, you want my help, getting off sales calls, being able to close clients without calls, building a content ecosystem that grows on autopilot, nurtures people on autopilot so that you can ultimately close clients over the DMs and over email so that things are lean and simple and highly profitable and efficient. Check out my Lifestyle Business Academy. It's in the description. There's a couple of other links you can check out there as well. But go and implement these. I think you're going to enjoy the results. Cheers.